Hey everybody, wanted to kind of give an update on my 2020 Native Slayer 10 and some of the modifications that I've done. Huge shout out to the YouTube community. I bought my kayak back in October, early October, and it's been so cold here in Nashville that I haven't really had a whole lot of time to get out on the water. I don't have the cold weather gear yet. So I've been spending the weekends just working on the kayak, trying to get it ready for spring, with the hopes that I get some cold gear and some other things for Christmas that'll help me take this to the next level. So anyways, just want to kind of give a quick rundown of what I've done so far, and would love some suggestions on some other things that I could be doing. Obviously, I bought the Native Sidekick with it, but what I did was I swapped out the rubber tires and put the C-Tug wheels on, and I've ordered the C-Tug sand tracks for when we go down to the beach in the Gulf, so I can use it a little bit easier that way. Here in the back of the kayak, I went to Walmart and found these handles that are Velcro on. They work for extension cords and cables and those kind of things, but I went ahead and attached it to the front and the back of the kayak so that it's a lot easier to lift and to hold and to move around. The other thing I did, saw a lot of people commenting about how the foam on the handles tends to deteriorate rather quickly. So before I ever even used it, I went ahead and on Amazon bought some cheap BMX bicycle hand grips, cut off the end, and used some Dawn dish soap to force those on there. So all four handles now have a rubber protecting as well. Other thing I did, I went ahead and added an extra security bungee here. I know that on the underside of the cap of the drain plug there is a safety thing, but just wanted to have a little bit of extra because I know those things are a pain to replace. I would never want to have that thing float away if I ever had to use it. I've left the rudder the same for now. I'm probably going to order the Boondocks for it. One thing I did do on the underside of the kayak, if you can see, is I added a Kydex keel guard to it and sealed it with silicone. I did that to both the front and the back. I figured I'd go ahead and get it on now while the kayak's new so I don't have any issues later that I have to fix. Ordered one of the Flambeau Tough Crate and have modded it quite a bit. Put some bungee on the back for my Yak Attack signal flag and light, the Visit Carbon. I went ahead and added or installed the two rod holders that come with it on this side. I'm probably not going to use those for the fishing rods, though they're not very deep, but I'll probably put my fishing net and also the Yak Attack Visit Carbon flag in those two sides. One other thing I did, and you'll see when I go around to the other side and show you why, but I added these rope handles. It just makes it a lot easier to carry when you've got the rod holders and other stuff on there. On the top of the Tough Crate, I did add quite a bit of bungee cords just laced through all the holes that are there. I did add shelf liner. There's a YouTube video by a guy named Andrew that modded his Flambeau Tough Crate out and just did an amazing job. And so a lot of the ideas and the credit goes to him for some of the stuff that I've done. On the handles, I did paint them black and added a bungee and a zip tie to make sure that they're secure and they don't go floating away in the middle of the bay. On the underside of the crate, I did add some bungee cords as well. One thing I did do that I hadn't seen anybody else is Walmart has these $1 headlamps, and I took the band off and I just zip tied it. But they work out really well because they tilt, and so it can actually shine down in the top of the crate at night and allow you to find all your gear. I had some leftover Kydex for my keel guards, and so I did add a divider here and then just have some standard stuff. One thing I did add, I made a stand-up assist and or a kayak flip assist rope and just keep that in there in the top. Just wanted to, saw one of the YouTube videos on there, and so I went ahead and made one with some of the leftover stuff that I had. In the main compartment, not sure if you can see, but I did do the dividers with the Kydex for the tackle boxes, and then there's just some other random stuff in there. On the underside, I did add the light here that tilts just like the others. Like I said, they're $1 at Walmart. And if you put them on with zip ties, if they ever do burn out, you can just, it's easy to replace that and even put new batteries in. I do fish in Mobile Bay and use a lot of cut bait. So I took a dollar store cutting board and just bungee corded it to the top that I can then use on the top of the crate if I ever need to use cut bait. And then I added along the sides here, so that it's a little bit easier to close quietly, some shelf liner, and then obviously paracord to keep the lids from flopping all the way open. On the front of the crate, I'm not sure if you can see very well just because of the lighting, but I went to Harbor Freight and they have these tool pouches, and I just zip tied them to the front. And they've got several compartments that you can slide stuff in, fishing knife, and then just add the rod leashes or restraining cords to keep stuff in case you do ever tip. Another project that I worked on was the anchor system. I added Yak Attack anchor trolleys on both sides of the kayak. And then my anchor, what I did was just got a standard anchor and buoy and rope, and used to store it all. Got the dive reel. But what I did was I just went and bought some PVC, an elbow joint here, and then on the underside of it actually has a grate, so it allows for drainage, and so it holds both the buoy and the rope, and then also the anchor itself, and then the dive reel just clips to the side. Just drilled a couple holes in the top and zip tied that. So when it goes through the anchor trolley, actually what I did was a quick release system, and so this loop just hooks onto the S-beaner here, and then if I ever need to get out of danger or let my anchor go at any time, it's real easy to do, and it just slides out through the anchor trolley through that loop and doesn't catch. If you'll notice on the seat, I did add some pipe foam insulation. I used the smaller stuff versus the pool noodles. I know a lot of people say that the belts and the straps tend to rub and can get annoying after a full day on the water, so I just did that. I did the thin stuff so that it does fold down, so the seat can actually fold all the way flat, and these things fold down with it, and so it doesn't cause too much issue as you do that. One find that I did, I haven't seen anybody else do, but I figured it would work out pretty well, is I went to Harbor Freight, and for $5, they have these 18-inch magnet tool holders. And so what I did was they work perfectly with the native seat. And so I just zip tied them, put a piece of black Gorilla Tape across the magnet so that when you're attaching stuff to it, it doesn't make too much noise as you're attaching scissors or pliers or whatever to it. I installed it up fairly high as to not interfere with the steering, but they seem to work really well. And obviously you can put a knife, scissors and all that stuff there, and they just magnetize to it, and it works really great. One big thing that I did, obviously you can see here I added paddle holders on each side, but I wasn't happy with the native handles that come with it, and I looked at the aluminum ones that sell for like $180 for the whole kit and everything, and just decided not to mess with that. And I saw a guy do a YouTube video. He took a suicide knob for a car that clamps onto the steering wheel and mounted it, and when he did it, there's a bolt here on the bottom of the knob. And what I did was I took everything apart and flipped the bolt around. I actually opened up the knob with some screws on the underside of it. It's like a $7 knob from Walmart. And flipped the bolt around to where it sits flush down here at the bottom. And so it doesn't catch near as bad as the bolt hanging down. And then just put everything back together, did some thread lock, and then super glued the knob back together. So it works out really well. Doesn't have any play. Real easy to grab a hold of. And I did shave down the ends of these with my Dremel tool just a little bit, thinking that I was going to have to use the bolt before I actually figured out the other way to do that. I do have the seat risers that I ordered, even though it's a 2020 model and they're already a raised seat. I wanted to be able to put a storage drawer underneath it, and there wasn't enough clearance with the bar, so I did order some seat risers and installed those. You'll notice I have the T-Tracks DeWalt system, T-Stacks, sorry. Two-drawer system, works great. the drawers actually lock, and so you have to actually pull a lever to open up the drawers. So it works out really well, has plenty of clearance. Put some rubber feet on the bottom of them, and then some Velcro on that centerpiece to hold it steady. And measured it to where the drawers can open all the way without hitting the pedal drive system. The other thing you'll notice, I didn't want to spend the $80 on the native underseat storage system, and so I went to Home Depot, and they have these Husky tool holder things, and they just Velcro in there and work out perfectly, and will hold a standard Plano tackle box, just like the other ones will. You can also put some tools in there if you want to, and then I just do the safety leashes on all the fish grips and all that kind of stuff. One other thing I've done, you'll notice on all my leashes, I actually take a cloth ponytail holder and wrap it around the seat and then clamp it to that, because it actually gives you a little bit of extra bungee and give, and makes it a little bit quieter too. You can get like 100 of them at Walmart for $2 or whatever. The other thing I did was I added on each side of the seat these bicycle lights, and they're rechargeable, but they actually shine down. There's a rubber strap that goes around and clips to it to where they attach to the seat. And so now I have deck lighting if I need it, if I'm ever out there early in the morning or late at night. It seems to work out really well for me. Moving forward, didn't really do a whole lot to the drive system itself. And you'll notice on the sides here, I haven't added any rod holders or a fish finder yet. I've been instructed by the wife that I'm not to do any of that stuff until after Christmas. So she has some Christmas ideas for me, so I decided I would oblige her. I did put a piece of paracord here connecting the two scuppers. On the drive itself, I do have a stand-up assist strap there in case it's needed. Just folds up there and attaches to the drive. I did change out the pedals with some cheap BMX pedals. These pegs are a lot smaller and easier to remove. I noticed that a lot of people with the Propel drives hate those pegs, and I tried to take them out myself and couldn't get them to come out. They kept stripping out the plastic, so I just swapped out the pedals for those. They're a lot more comfortable on bare feet in the summertime. The other thing you'll notice I added was I made my own phone holder. What I did was, instead of buying one of those expensive RAM mount ones, I just made a PVC extension that screws into the top of the Propel drive, and then just bolt clipped a $10 bicycle handle phone attachment, and it works out perfect for holding my phone. And then the other thing I can do, I'll show you here in just a second. Ta-da! I added a DIY navigation light tree. Again, just some PVC pipe that screws into the top of the Propel drive. And then these lights are rechargeable. On the front is a standard bicycle headlight that actually is super bright. So if I'm ever out at night or early in the morning, I can navigate, and it's got a bunch of different modes to it. It actually serves as a power bank as well, so I can charge other lights off of it, or I can also just bring my standard phone charging power bank as well. And then on the side here, these are bicycle lights, and they either have red or green and can flash as well. So I actually have navigation lights. It works out really well. I can take that same phone mount and mount it here to the top in the gap that's right here, and still have my phone mounted as well. It just clips on. And so between the two things, I probably spent maybe 50 or 60 bucks between the two. Have all rechargeable lights, and seems to work out really well. And I'm really happy with how that turned out. Here on the front, I have the Magellan fish bag. Seems to work out really well. I've got it bungeed to the front handle. If you'll notice here, I do have the Walmart rope handle as well. It sticks out past and works out really well for carrying it. I don't have it bungeed here at the back, so I can access the hatch right now while it's in the garage. The hatch itself, I haven't really done a whole lot. Haven't ran any wiring or anything yet because I don't have the fish finder. Just a dry bag for emergency stuff, spare paddle, and a couple things. One thing I did do was I added another one of those Walmart lights. It's just Velcroed to the lip there, but it shines back into the hull and allows you to find stuff, even if you're not on the water, if you're still just sitting in your truck trying to find something. It makes it a lot easier to find things. Here on the underside, you can see where I did do the Kydex keel guard as well, and it's siliconed up there really nice, and the Yak Attack anchor trolley. Coming down the other side, there's really not much else that wasn't already there on the other side. I do have the anchor trolley going down. I do have the magnet bar with some things attached to it, another quick release anchor thing if I want to anchor on the other side. I mounted both sides these gear tracks to where that the PVC pipe anchor can attach to it. I should have told you earlier, the way it anchors down, it's got a T-bolt and then just a twist lock that goes through the grate and holds it to the T-tracks, or I'm sorry, the track system here, and holds it steady so I can have it on either side of the kayak depending on which way I'm situated that day. Trying to think anything else I need to show you guys at all. The rod holders there, again, that's cutting board, mounted the rod holders to the cutting board and then the cutting board to the crate. Works out really well, keeps it offset, and then I've just got the rod leashes here. I am going to add the Perception seat back cooler. It's on back order, but once it comes in, I'm going to bungee it to the back there and be able to put drinks and lunch and everything in there. That's about it that I can think of right now. If there's anything else you guys think of that I could be doing to make it better before I take it out fishing in the spring, I'd love to hear from you. Just put a message in the comment section below. Thanks, everybody.